Hello, everybody. My name is the TCG Outlaw, and today I am profiling not one of my decks. I am profiling my mother-in-law's. This is her um, Boros Angel Tribal deck that centers around extra combats. I've played against her a couple different times while she's played this deck, and I have to admit it can get pretty scary. So I'm happy to show it off for her on the channel. Let's go ahead and get on into it. Her commander is Aurelia the Warleader, a 3/4 for 2 red, and 2 white. Legendary creature Angel, flying, vigilance, and haste. And whenever Aurelia the Warleader attacks for the first time each turn, untap all creatures you control, and then there's an additional combat phase. This is her commander. Can be quite oppressive at times. So, we'll get on to the creatures first. Right. First creature we have is Seraph of the Suns, a 4/4 for 5 and 2 white, angel, flying, and indestructible. Gesala, Blade of Gold Knight, a legendary angel, 5/5 for 4, a red, and 2 whites, has flying and first strike. And if a source would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, that source deals double that damage to that player or permanent instead. If a source would deal damage to you or a permanent you control, prevent half that damage rounded up. Next, we have Aurelia the Law Above, legendary angel, 4/4 for 3, a red, and a white, flying, vigilance, haste. Whenever a player attacks with 3 or more creatures, you draw a card. Whenever a player attacks with 5 or more creatures, Aurelia the Law Above deals 3 damage to each of your opponents and you gain 3 life. Next, we have Flameblade Angel, a 4/4 for 4 and 2 red, has flying. Whenever a source an opponent controls deals damage to you or a permanent you control, you may have Flameblade Angel deal 1 damage to that source's controller. I apologize for my sniffling. I've got a bit of a cold. Next, we have Ceradon Yearling. This is not an angel. It is a 2/2 for a red and a white beast with vigilance and haste. Next, we have Guardian of the Great Door, a 4/4 for 2 white. As an additional cost to cast a spell, tap 4 untapped artifacts, creatures, and or lands you control. Has flying. Next, we have Angel of Vitality, a 2/2 for 2 and a white. Flying, if you would gain life, you gain that much life plus 1 instead. This creature gets +2/+2 as long as you have 25 or more life. Great early game card. Next, we have Angelic Quartermaster. Angel Soldier, 3/3 for 3 and 2 white. Has flying. When Angelic Quartermaster enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on each of up to 2 other target creatures. Next, we have Lyra Dawnbringer. Legendary Angel, 5/5 for 3 and 2 white. Flying, first strike, and lifelink. Other angels you control get +1/+1 and have lifelink. Next, we have Youthful Valkyrie, a 1/3 for 1 and a white. Flying, whenever another angel enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on Youthful Valkyrie. Next, we have Herald of Eternal Dawn, a 6/6 for 4 and 3 white. Has flash. Has flying. You can't lose the game and your opponents can't win the game. Next, we have Glorious Enforcer, a 5/5 for 5 and 2 white. Has flying and lifelink. At the beginning of each combat, if you have more life than your opponent, Glorious Enforcer gains double strike until the end of turn. Next, we have Firemane Angel, a 4/3 for 3, a red, and 2 white. has flying and first strike. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Firemane Angel is in your graveyard or on the battlefield, you may gain 1 life. You can pay 6, 2 red and 2 white, return Firemane Angel from your graveyard to the battlefield, activate this ability only during your upkeep. Next we have Basandra, Battle Seraph, a 4/4 for 3, a red and a white, has flying. Players can't cast spells during combat. Then you can pay red, target creature attacks this turn if able. Next we have Aurelia, Exemplar of Justice, a 2/5 for 2, red and a white, has flying and mentor. Whenever this creature attacks, put a 1/1 counter on another on target attacking creature with lesser power. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose up to 1 target creature you control. Until the end of turn, that creature gets +2/+0, gains trample if it's red, and gains vigilance if it's white. Next we have Sarah Angel, a 4/4 for 3 and 2 white, has flying and vigilance. Next we have Sigovann Angel, a 1/1 for 1 white, has flying and vigilance. Next we have Exemplar of Light, a 3/3 for 2 and 2 white, has flying. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. Whenever you put one or more 1/1 counters on this creature, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. That is it for the creatures. Next, we will move on to the artifacts. Of course, we'll start with good old Soul Ring. 1, tap it, add 2 colorless. Next, we have Arcane Signet. 2, add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Next, we have Leyline Axe for 4 mana. If this card is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has double strike and trample. Equipped for 3. Next, we have Commander's Sphere, a 3 mana artifact. Tap it to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Sacrifice Commander's Sphere, draw a card. Next, we have Thought Vessel, a 2 mana artifact. You have no maximum hand size. You can tap it to add 1 colorless mana. Next, we have Sword of the Animist, a legendary artifact equipment for 2 mana. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever equipped creature attacks, you may search your library for a basic land card. Put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Equipped for 2. Next, we have Helm of the Host, legendary artifact equipment for 4 mana. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a token that's a copy of equipped creature, except the token isn't legendary. If the equipped creature is legendary, the token gains haste. Next, we have Archomancer's Map, artifact for 2 and a white. When this artifact enters, search your library for up to 2 basic plains cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand, then shuffle. Whenever a land an opponent controls enters, if that player controls more lands than you, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Next, we have the Spear of Leonidas, a legendary artifact equipment for 2 and a red. Whenever a equipped creature attacks, choose 1. Bull Rush. It gains double strike until the end of turn. Summon. Create Phobos, a 3/2 red horse creature. Or Revelation. Discard 2 cards, then draw 2 cards. Equipped for 2. Next, we have Swiftfoot Boots, artifact equipment for 2 mana. Equipped creature has hexproof and haste. Equipped for 1. Next, we have Seraphic Greatsword for 1 and a white. Equipped creature gets +2/+2. Whenever an equipped creature attacks the player with the most life or tied for the most life, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying that's tapped and attacking that player. Equipped for 4. Next, we have Lightning Spear, a equipment for 1 and a red. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and has trample. You can pay 2 and a red. Sacrifice the Lightning Spear. It deals 3 damage to any target. Equipped for 1. Next, we have Duskroad's Reliquary, an artifact for 1 white. As an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Has Ward 2. When Duskcrow's Reliquary enters the battlefield, exile target artifact or creature an opponent controls until Duskcrow's Reliquary leaves the battlefield. Next, we have Elixir of Immortality, an artifact for 1. You can pay 2, tap it, you gain 5 life, shuffle Elixir of Immortality and your graveyard into their owner's library. That is the artifacts. Next up, we have enchantments. First off, we have True Conviction, enchantment for 3 and 3 white. Creatures you control have double strike and lifelink. Next, we have Angelic Accord, enchantment for 3 and a white. At the beginning of each instep, if you gained 4 or more life this turn, put a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying onto the battlefield. Next, we have Pacifism, enchantment aura for 1 and a white. Enchant creature can't attack or block. Next, we have Prayer of Binding for 3 and 1 white, has flash. When the Prayer of Binding enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent an opponent controls until the Prayer of Binding leaves the battlefield. You gain 2 life. Next, we have Court of Grace, enchantment for 2 and 2 white. When Court of Grace enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. If you are the monarch, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying instead. Next, we have Assemble the Legion. For 3, a red and a white. At the beginning of your upkeep, you put a muster counter on the Assemble the Legion. Then create a 1/1 red and white soldier creature token with haste for each muster counter on Assemble the Legion. Next, we have Gleam of Battle. For 4, a red and a white. Whenever a creature you control attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it. Next, we have Warleader's Call. For 1, a red and a white. Creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, Warleader's Call deals 1 damage to each opponent. Next, we have Rising of the Day. For 2 and a red. Creatures you control have haste. Legendary creatures you control get +1/+0. That is the enchantments. Next up is sorceries. First up, we have Wrath of God. A sorcery for 2 and 2 white, destroy all creatures. They can't be regenerated. Next, we have Overpowering Attack. For 3 and 2 red, has free running, which means you can pay for 2 and a red. You may cast a spell for its free running cost if you dealt combat damage to a player this turn with an assassin or your commander. Untap all creatures you control that attack this turn. If it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase, followed by an additional main phase. Next, we have Bring to Trial. For 2 and a white, exile target creature with power 4 or greater. Next, we have Full Throttle. For 4 and 2 red, after this phase, there are 2 additional combat phases. At the beginning of each combat this turn, untap all creatures that attacked this turn. Next, we have Secret Rendezvous. For 1 and 2 white, you and target opponent draw 3 cards. Next, we have Bright Flame. X, 2 red, 2 white. Has Radiance. Bright Flame deals X damage to target creature and each other creature that shares a color with it. You gain life equal to the damage dealt this way. Next, we have Relentless Assault. For 2 and 2 red, untap all creatures that attack this turn. After this main phase, there is an additional combat phase, followed by an additional main phase. Next up is Instants. First off, we have Smite the Monstrous. For 3 and a white, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. Next up, we have Chaos Warp. For 2 and a red, the owner of target permanent shuffles it into their library, then reveals the top card of their library. If it's a permanent card, they put it onto the battlefield. Next, we have True Love's Kiss. For 2 and 2 white, exile target artifact or enchantment, draw a card. We have War Flare. For 2, a red and a white, creatures you control get +2/+1 until the end of turn. Untap those creatures. Next, we have Swords to Plowshares. For 1 white, exile target creature. Its controller gains life equal to its power. Next, we have Rally of Wings. For 1 and 1 white, untap all creatures you control. Creatures you control with flying get +2/+2 until the end of turn. Next, we have Path to Exile. For 1 white, exile target creature. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card and put that card onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Next, we have Exposed to Daylight. For 2 and 1 white, destroy target artifact or enchantment, scry 1. Next, we have Boros Charm. For a red and a white, choose 1. Deals 4 damage to target player or planeswalker. Permanents you control gain indestructible until the end of turn. Target creature gains double strike until the end of turn. Next, we have Foundry Helix. For 1 red and 1 white, as an additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice a permanent. Foundry Helix deals 4 damage to any target. If the sacrifice permanent was an artifact, you gain 4 life. Next up, we have Sacred Fire. For a red and a white, Sacred Fire deals 2 damage to any target, and you gain 2 life. Has flashback for 4, a red and a white. That is the instance. Now we will move on to the lands. So, for non-basic lands, we have Royal City. It's a land town. This land enters tapped. Tap to add red or white. Next, we have Rupture Spire. Rupture Spire enters the battlefield tapped. When Rupture Spire enters the battlefield, sacrifice unless you pay 1. Add 1 mana of any color. Ash Barrens. Tap to add colorless, or it has basic land cycling. Next, we have Crossroads Village. This land enters tapped. As it enters, choose a color. Add 1 mana of the chosen color. Next, we have Thriving Heath. Thriving Heath enters the battlefield tapped. As Thriving Heath enters the battlefield, choose a color other than white. Tap to add white or 1 mana of the chosen color. Next, we have Opal Palace. Tap to add colorless, or you can pay 1, tap it to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. If you spend this mana to cast your commander, it enters the battlefield with a number of additional 1/1 counters on it equal to the number of times it has been cast from the command zone this game. Next, we have Evolving Wilds. Tap, sacrifice it, search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle your library. Next, we have Captivating Cave. Tap to add colorless, or you can pay 1, tap to add 1 mana of any color, or you can pay 4, tap it, sacrifice Captivating Cave, put 2 1/1 counters on target creature, activate only as a sorcery. Next, we have Wind-Scarred Crag. When it enters the battlefield tapped. When the Wind-Scarred Crag enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. Tap to add red or white. Next, we have Sandstone Bridge. Sandstone Bridge enters the battlefield tapped. When Sandstone Bridge enters the battlefield, target creature gets +1/+1 and gains vigilance until the end of turn. Tap to add white mana. Next, we have Night Market. This land enters tapped. As it enters, choose a color. Tap to add 1 mana of the chosen color, or it has cycling for 3. That is the non-basic lands. I know my mother-in-law was saying that she was going to be trying to tinker and upgrade the mana base a little bit, so I'm excited to see what she does with that. And if this video does well enough, I may even do another profile on the channel for her, if this video does well enough to show off the upgrades that she does to it, because I know she is thinking about upgrading the deck. But We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 planes. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 mountains. Well, this was my mother-in-law's Angel Tribal deck. I've always liked angels, so I'm happy that she decided to build this deck when she did. I always thought angels were pretty cool. But this was my mother's angel deck, or angel EDH commander deck. If you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you guys want to see more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And if you have any suggestions on how my mom can upgrade her angel deck, please leave a comment. I know I'd like to see any suggestions. But this has been the TCG Outlaw. See you later.